eyes open this time, a choice. I need to see what happens when you watch the art move instead of closing everything out. Need to understand who made these patterns or if they make themselves, whether they appear for me specifically or for anyone who finds themselves 1,000 somethings removed from their body. The silence gets heavy first, not absence of sound, but presence of quiet. Weight pressing on eardrums. Clinical space becomes cosmic space. The scale screaming through the weighted void. This is measurable. This is real. This is also completely impossible. Fungus again. Always the fungus. My brain reaching into its library for the right book to describe what neurons look like when you can see them from inside. Spores networking in darkness. Mycelial threads connecting. Trichomes, crystalline and precise. The books are colors and textures. We read with eyes and fingers. Each volume pressed against others long enough to leave permanent indentations in the binding. The color of my consciousness is blue. Rigid structure. Hardcover board. What color is the mycelium book? Purple, maybe. Organic architecture rendered in bioluminescent violet. Clang. Metal on metal. Something close. Proximity alert cutting through the cosmic scale. The vastness has things in it. Not empty. Populated. Why mushroom visuals when ketamine is not psilocybin, though? The question matters. NMDA receptor antagonism should not produce fungal imagery. But here it is. The answer suggests itself. Neural networks and mycelial networks follow identical mathematical rules. Fractal branching. Information distribution without central processing. I am not hallucinating mushrooms. I am perceiving accurate structural models of my own brain. The fungus book and the neuron book are the same book, same texture, same fractal patterns on every page. The silence swells. Cosmic now. I am hearing infinity, the void pressing against skull, finite container, infinite content. The math does not work, but the experience persists. Body things next. Hair, teeth, glimpses of biological architecture separated from integrated wholes. This is where it gets strange. Structures divorced from context. Teratomas. Teeth growing in tumors. Hair in wrong places. The horror is not the structures themselves. The horror is correct mathematics executing in incorrect locations. The formula does not care. It just runs. Grow, branch, replicate, calcify. Trichomes and teeth receiving identical instructions. Same fractals in skin and spores. The library contains anatomy books and botany books pressed so close together their colors bleed between pages, blue and purple and bone white. Rattle, sharp, snake warning. Wait, the silence has things in it. The massive quiet is populated. The vastness is alive, not just enormous. This changes everything. In the library, you think you are alone in the dark stacks, but then you hear pages turning. Other readers exist. The universe is not solitary. Structure, everything resolves to questions of structure, integrity, form. What is the math that keeps books upright on shelves? What prevents collapse into chaos? How does organized complexity persist when entropy should win? The folds. Oh, the folds, though. 100 what? Distance does not work. Height does not work. The body is down there, but I am not up. I am removed. Separated. What is the unit for separation from yourself? My brain searches its library for reference points, for anything measurable. The trichomes, yes. The crystalline structures I have been watching. 100 trichomes of separation from my body. This works. This is measurement. 100 trichomes out, and the distance is both terrifying and awesome. I can see my body below, small, distant, connected by threads of perception stretched thin. I think this is the limit. This is as far as awareness can travel from meat, the edge of the library, the last shelf. The silence grows louder. How can silence increase in volume? But it does. Deafening quiet, weighted absence of sound more present than sound itself. Then the treatment sends me to 1,000 trichomes. 1,000. Never thought 100 was possible. Now 1,000. What is the scale? Where does this depth even fit? How is there room for this in three-dimensional space? The library extends past architectural plans. More shelves than blueprints suggested. Books behind books behind books. Mechanical grinding, industrial sounds. Close, something important right here in the enormous. Scale oscillating. Cosmic, massive, and immediate proximity, both true simultaneously, like reading with fingers and eyes at once. Feeling embossed letters while perceiving meaning of words. Texture and content inseparable. Macro and micro collapsing into single experience. It is the small twist in the fractal. When you zoom, the boundary reveals new worlds. Is consciousness fractal too? Does awareness contain infinite recursive depth? The question is not rhetorical. This feels like observable truth, not metaphor, but structure. Each level containing infinite sub-levels. You can zoom forever. I am zooming into my own perception from inside perception. Dimensions without position, spaces lacking location. Language fails here. Words are books with insufficient pages for this content. How do you describe the wordless? You just keep trying. The heavy silence watches, not empty watching. Alive. The void populated with presences. In the library at night. Darkness, but occupied. Other readers moving through stacks. You are not alone, even when alone. Recursive. Consciousness watching, consciousness watch, consciousness. Strange loops with no ground floor. I am reading the book that describes the reader reading the book. The formula feeds output back as input. Z squared plus C, iterating eternally. The books write themselves by reading themselves. Clanging, rattling, warning, beacon, markers in infinity. Navigation points preventing complete dissolution. The sound of books being reshelved. Reminding you of physical location despite conceptual departure. The folds go forever because the math never stops running. Simple recursive formulas generating infinite complexity. This is not hallucination. This is perception of underlying reality. Neural architecture revealing itself through the only imagery that captures its truth. I am no longer scale-locked, not confined to human-sized awareness. The rigid blue structure that defines me temporarily releases. My hardcover binding loosens. I move through folds that contain worlds that contain folds that contain worlds. Each book pressed against others. 20 years of volumes shelved together. Her book was pink silk over delicate pages. Shiny surface she maintained deliberately. She understood which textures could penetrate rigid structure, which surfaces my particular binding could perceive when most went unnoticed. The effort was love made manifest in physical form. Her texture still readable in my blue grain. The indentations permanent, books shelved together long enough become part of each other. Silence, screaming, massive. Sound, saying something urgent near. Both, giant and alive, empty and populated. The paradox prevents existential collapse. If it was only vast, that would be horror. But it is vast and inhabited. This is tolerable. This is even beautiful. How deep can this go? Serious question. Does anyone have complete maps? Can the recursion continue indefinitely? The library may be infinite. The books may write themselves forever. No limits, really. The art keeps moving. Fungus keeps networking. Trichomes crystallizing. Fractals branching. Math building structures without meaning until integration gives context. Until readers make stories from pages. The books require consciousness to become narratives. Rattle again. Proximity. Presence. The universe is not alone. Neither am I. Body below somewhere. Me up here or out here or through here. Displaced through dimensional folds. 1,000 trichomes and still going, so I lean in. Why not? How deep does it go? Let us find out. Coming back now, I think. The fold's closing, maybe. Or I am moving back through. Hard to tell which direction constitutes return. In the library, finding your way to the entrance after losing yourself in stacks. The path unclear, but movement definite. Silence lightens. Pressure releases, sounds becoming normal sounds again. Reintegration occurring. The blue structure reasserting. Rigid binding returning to familiar shape. But I saw it. I saw how deep it goes. Measured the depth in trichomes. Heard the massive quiet. Heard the life inside it. Documented the folds. Read the books. Felt their textures with my fingers. Saw their colors with my eyes. Blue, pressing against pink, pressing against purple, pressing against gold. Each volume leaving impressions in adjacent spines. The library persists even after you leave it. The mathematical operations do not terminate. The formula keeps running. Consciousness keeps perceiving itself, perceiving itself. The world is giant. The world is alive. Both observations remain true.